All right. What is going on, everybody? Today, we're going to be going over a client report case study with one of my management clients, Dr. Ben Adams. Just want to show you guys, kind of the ins and outs of what we do for clients. And if you could possibly get some ideas from it, then good. You could take anything that you learn from this, go implement, do whatever you want. I don't care. But just to show you that, we take this serious, right? When it comes to, getting results from Instagram, getting clients from Instagram specifically. We wanted to break it down to the T. Just did a quick breakdown between August 10th and 14th. So this is only a report for 4 days. Keep that in mind, right? In a 4 day span, these are the numbers that we got. But before we get into that, please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube. And ultimately, after you're done watching this, if you want to book a call to see how I can potentially help you do the same thing that we've been able to do for this client here, then just go ahead and click the link below and schedule a 1 hour free strategy call with me. Literally, all I'm going to do on the call is basically just, see where you're at, where you're trying to get to, what your goals are, see if we can identify what's holding you back, and also give you some value. And listen, if we're a good fit, then of course I want to work with you. We can see how that works. But if not, then completely fine. I'm still going to give you some value that you can roll away with on that call, implement, and hopefully you get results without having to, need to work with me, right? But other than that, let's just go ahead and get straight into the case study. So this is Dr. Ben Adams. He's out in Temecula, California. He actually was a coaching client last year, I believe, and he implemented the strategy, of course, got great results. And then eventually he actually reached out to me about 5 months ago, I want to say. And he said, "Hey man, like I really want to have somebody take over the strategy for me because I've been really lacking. I'm really busy. I can't, implement the strategy the way that I used to. So can you take it over for me?" And of course we said yes. So now we actually manage his Instagram for him. He's absolutely loving it because he doesn't have to send all the messages. He doesn't really, all he does is just shoot content and post, even though we've told him, hey, if you need content edited and posted, send it to us and we'll do it. But he wanted to still take that over, so that's fine. So we handle basically the ads. We keep an eye on the ads, and then we do a lot of the outreach too as well, which takes a lot off of his plate and it keeps the strategy flowing and going, right? So just newsflash, he is a rehab chiropractor. So not just your general chiro, he's rehab focused. Like I said, he's out there in Temecula, California, and his practice name is Premium Chiropractic Rehab. If you guys want to reach out to him on Instagram, then please do. If you want to talk to him and ask him if this is legit, if I really do work with him, and potentially maybe if you're watching this, me and him might not be working with each other. But even if we're not, still reach out. But for right now, we are working with each other. We've been working with each other for about, like I said, 5 months. So I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But ultimately, I just want to go ahead and break down the numbers of what we got between August 10th and August 14th. Like I said, these are just within a span of 4 days. Okay. So just keep that in mind when you look at these numbers and say, that's actually pretty interesting. Okay. Now, the number one thing that I want you to know what we do, if you don't know what we do. So basically, what I do is I teach or I manage Instagram profiles, right? And I show you, right, how to turn Instagram followers into real clients, okay, qualified, right? Not people that are just, shopping around. You might run into a couple of those here and there, but you can weed those out in the conversations. But ultimately, qualifying these people through Instagram alone, you don't need Go High Level, you don't need any other software. All you need is your social media account for this. Okay. And then we literally get people booked straight through the DMs. Okay. Now, the biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is we don't chase numbers. Okay. We chase building connections that will convert. So we build on relationships, right? We do that through the content that we post. We do it through running retargeting ads, through running ads to people that aren't followers, right? And even people that are followers, they still see our ads. In the DMs too as well. We build relationships there. So there's many different ways on Instagram that you can actually build a tighter relationship with people so that when they're ready, you're on top of mind. Or, if they have a friend or somebody that could need your help, then they refer them to you because you're on top of mind. Because that's the name of the game in the long run. You're going to hear me say that a lot, right? Because it truly does matter. And it's something that I feel like a lot of businesses got away from ever since we've been introduced to getting clients on social media, period. Because now we expect everything quick, quick, quick. But in reality, in the sales process, that's not how it works, right? People still have to get to know you. They have to build that know, like, and trust factor in order for them to even consider becoming a patient. I put in one of my videos, a person has to spend 48 total minutes in order to even consider becoming a client or referring you to somebody else with your business. Right. So I'm not saying that that's everybody. There is a small portion of people, as you will see when we go over these numbers, that will convert. But you will also see how many people that we got as a follower that didn't convert, right? So those people are still in the different part of the sales process, in the beginning of the sales process. They're in the nurturing phase. They need to be nurtured over time, right? So let's go ahead and let's get into some numbers. So if you look at the bottom left where it says the follower to client funnel, and these are all stats that I got from my wife. She's the one that actually handles the DMs, right? So she keeps track of the numbers, she sends them to me, and we get these percentages. So everything we do is in-house, by the way, right? We don't have a huge team, right? We just have a couple of people and that's it. And it's mainly me that you're going to be talking to for the most part. But if you can see at the bottom left, right, she sent me this number: 36 total new followers were contacted. So on August, from August 10th to August 14th, we had 36 people that we reached out to. Okay. Now, out of those 36 people, okay, 11 people responded. Okay. They responded to the very first message. So that's actually really good. And we'll go over the percentages here in a little bit, and I'll show you what the benchmark is and everything like that, just so you could see that it is really good. Okay. Now, out of those 11 people, three, after we qualified them, we got them to book. Now, what I mean by qualify is we're seeing if they're a good fit for what we do. Because if they're not a good fit for what we do, then we do not want to ask them to come in, right? Or to become a client. I've talked to a lot of business owners that are in the high ticket space that say we waste tons of money on leads that, that aren't even qualified, and we show up to these appointments or they show up to the appointments, and we're just not a good fit. Well, this is one of the ways that we've been able to eliminate that through having conversations in the messages to see if they're a good fit. And if they are, like I said, we just move them forward to the booking process, right? And we get them booked directly. So we're doing all of this for Dr. Ben, right? He's not having to do this anymore. We're taking this off of his hands. We have access to a scheduler. We have access to certain things, right? Obviously not everything, because there's some information that's going to be private. But ultimately, okay, we are handling it for him, right? So we got three people booked out of the 36 followers, new followers. So that tells us out of every 36 followers, we should get three bookings that we reach out to, right? I believe the number actually was one booking for every 12 followers message. So excuse me for that. But um, yeah, let's go ahead and let's go into the benchmark comparison. So as you can see, right, we when it comes to follower to response rate, right, we're at a 30.6%, which is above average. The benchmark is 10% to 20%. Okay. The response to booking rate is actually a 27.3%, which is above average again. And the benchmark for that is 15% to 25%. Okay. And when it comes to follower to booking rate, it's at 8.3%, which is still above average because the benchmark is going to be 3% to 7%. Okay. These benchmarks are based on warm Instagram follower outreach data, okay, from service-based businesses. That's what the benchmarks are noted on. So everything that we're doing, and remember, this isn't within the span of 4 days, guys. 4 days. Okay. You got three new bookings, three new patients on the books. Okay. Now, the biggest takeaway that we could take away from this, okay, one, content. He creates good content that attracts clients, not to become famous. Okay. And, that's something that I teach in my actual coaching program of what pieces of content, right, are going to be, or not the pieces of content, but what categories do you need to hit with content in order to attract new patients? And I also give that to management clients too as well. Okay. Ultimately, the follows, when people follow you, it creates the opportunity, right? It's them saying, "Hey, I'm somewhat interested in what you do." Excuse me. People don't just follow just to follow, especially if it's a business and they know it's a business. They follow because they're thinking, "This might be someone that I need in the future, so let me follow them," right? And people love supporting businesses too as well. But still, it's an opportunity for you. And then ultimately what that can lead to is, like I said, is now we're having conversations that could lead to someone booking right now, or it could lead to someone booking in the future, whenever that is. We don't know. Okay, we can't force people to do business with us. All we could do is do the best on our end with marketing, make sure everything is running efficiently, and then once we do that, then it's up to them, right? There's no pressure when it comes to that, right? So ultimately, when it comes to the numbers and the conversion breakdown, okay, so the 30.6%, the follower to response rate, right? What that shows us is that this is a strong response rate from warm followers. Okay, so the people that are responding to the first message, that's where we're getting that from. Okay, which is very high, by the way. Okay, this is this is like I said, the industry benchmark is 10 to 20% response rate. So we're 10% above that. Actually 10.6% above that, right? So the second part, the second one, the response to booking rate, that is going to be showing that nearly in 1 in 4 responses, right, you can convert into a booking. That's what that's saying, from response to booking. So responding from the first message to qualifying to booking. 1 in 4 responses. Okay. And then the 8.3%, when we go over the overall follower to booking rate, that's going to also be above. And what that's telling you is we had high quality conversations that led to real appointments. Real appointments, 8.3%. Again, we are 1% above the benchmark. 3 to 7% is the benchmark. So ultimately, if we get a really good breakdown, 36 messages sent, 11 responses. From the responses, three booked books. Sorry, booked. That's in 4 days, guys. 4 days. Not a week, not a month, 4 days. August 10th to August 14th, right? Now, that's all that I have for you. I just wanted to break down this case study because this is huge, right? A lot of people don't think that this stuff is real, right? They see a lot of people selling, Instagram funnels and social funnels and things like that, which I'm actually the first one to bring this strategy into the chiropractic industry specifically. Before there wasn't really anybody doing. Now you see people doing it left and right, right? But ultimately, this is what it tends to look like whenever you run the strategy correctly. Okay, like I said, this is just within the span of 4 days, which is really, really good. So now we're compiling more data, okay, that for a week, for 2 weeks, and we want to put those numbers together and present case studies like this to show you what that looks like in the future. But ultimately, when it comes to the system, just follow this, attract the right people, engage with value, and convert to clients in the messages. Follow that, and you should be golden. Okay. But other than that, I just wanted to break down this case study to you guys. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, or even if you just want to hop on a call, like I said, there's going to be a link below this video so that you can go ahead and book a 1 hour discovery call. I'll be able to answer all the questions that you have about this. But just wanted to present some results and some data to you guys. This is really exciting, actually. He's one of the best management clients that I've worked with so far. Very, really responsive. Really easy to work with, doesn't make things hard, lets us do our job. And when he does, this is what happens, right? So, other than that, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Hope you got some value from this. And yeah, we will see you later.